And on a beautiful Friday afternoon, we welcome you into the Midlands of the Palmetto State here at Miller Field as Columbia International plays host to St. Andrews in AAC play. Everyone, Kate Crenshaw with you on this Friday afternoon for this exciting matchup. And these are two teams that really have had opposite starts to their 2022 campaigns. The Rams, 13-23 on the season. Meanwhile, St. Andrews, a whopping 26 wins to just 8 losses on the year, as Chris Allen will stand in to lead things off for the Knights. The left fielder hitting .259 this season. Righty-on-righty matchup. First pitch is indeed a fastball right down Broadway. A little elevated in the zone, called strike one. Parrish winding. Soft dribble to the right side of the infield. Trujillo from second. The throw in time at first for out number one.
Coming into this game, Justin Parrish is currently sitting at fourth in the conference with strikeouts, and he's got his hands full today as St. Andrews has 2 of the home run leaders sit both tied for second place with 12 home runs.
Allen, who was just retired, with 12, and Joshua Benfield with 12 as well. 1 down and 2 pitches in to the top of the first. First pitch popped up high in the air. Possible play over the left side. It'll be out of play for strike one against Nate Vigent. Once again, a reminder that foul ball is going to be coming into the stands on a regular occasion. Parrish, the 0-1. Fastball sailing high. Even up the count. A windy day this afternoon in Columbia. Winds near 15 miles per hour, right to left across the diamond. 1-1 pitch swung on, driven into center field. Carter Willis standing under it as he reels it in for the second out. 5 pitches into this first inning, and Justin Parrish is shutting down a St. Andrews offense that comes in to this afternoon's ball game hitting .308 as a ball club. Meanwhile, Noah Lawson, the shortstop, looks to change things around. Parrish, first pitch. Breaking ball, low and away. Ball 1. Check swing on the inner half. Evens up the count, called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Noah Lawson as Parrish looks to complete a 1-2-3 frame for the Rams. 1-1 once again, missing on the outer half for ball 2. Parrish has tried going to that spot twice in this count. Now quick work, the 2-1. Down low and away for ball 3. The breaking ball is not missing much, but still it's dipping outside the bottom corner. 3-1 on the way. Outside, ball 4. Josh Hernandez held that pitch for quite a while on the outer edge of the plate. Nonetheless, Lawson will take first base on a 5-pitch walk to bring up St. Andrews cleanup hitter and Greg Izzo. The catcher worked with 2 down and 1 on. Izzo, a senior out of Fort Mill, South Carolina, up near the Charlotte area, just along the North Carolina and South Carolina border.
Parrish almost made it out of this inning with pitch count lower than double digits, but they were lucky enough to get somebody on base, so hopefully he can keep them at first and end this inning early.
11th pitch of the frame on the way. It's a called strike 1 on the inside edge against Izzo. Check over, throw it first. Back in time is Lawson. Parrish readies at the letters for the 0-1. Fouled back into the netting, strike 2.
Izzo, the senior, has been batting an average of .389 so far this year.
Nothing in 2, the count to St. Andrews cleanup hitter. 1 on, 2 down, the 0-2. Called strike 3 on the outer edge, and Justin Parrish picks up strikeout number 1 today and 58 on the season. One batter stranded after a walk, but nothing more. We're scoreless as we make our way into the bottom of the first from Columbia. We return on the CIU Sports Network. Back in Columbia at Miller Field, no score as we make our way into the bottom of the first inning. CIU set to bring their offense to the plate for the first time this afternoon, but they're going to match up against a crafty lefty and Josiah Barheit, just a true freshman. He steps in, and really there's not going to be anything out of the ordinary. Fastball, curveball, and changeup pitch, but one of the most interesting things you're going to see from Barheit is his change in delivery. You're going to see a little bit of hesitation sometimes with the leg in the air. You're going to see a delayed response even. Quick pitch, there's a variety of ways he delivers it to home plate. And Corbett, that's definitely a way that hitters often get caught up in themselves, is just that funkiness is just enough to throw you off.
Most definitely. And I've also, looking at their roster, I've noticed a trend that their top 7 pitchers with the most innings pitched so far this season are all freshmen. So we could see a lot of young arms up there today. As Barheit, he's coming into this game on the season with a 4.71 ERA right now, with 39 strikeouts.
Andy Fox, in his 6th year as head coach at St. Andrews, was telling me pregame that this is a very young pitching staff across the board. A number of their starters are going to be young, and Corbett, you alluded to that. A lot of their bullpen are younger guys in there. Meanwhile, they work against an experienced CIU lineup led off by Shane Hammonds, the left fielder. Barheit readies, first pitch down in the dirt at the feet of Hammonds for ball 1.
Yeah, that young lineup in their bullpen has proven to be pretty successful so far this season, so they have a bright future ahead of them.
1-0, once again hanging low for Barheit. 2 balls, no strikes to the senior out of McBee, South Carolina. Lefty on righty matchup, the 2-0. Below the zone, Nilly kicking up dirt once again for the 3rd straight pitch, 3-0 count. Barheit needing to settle in early on for St. Andrews and avoid the leadoff walk. Hammond showed bunt, then pulled back as ball 4 hung below the zone. The leadoff runners aboard for Columbia International after just 4 pitches.
It's a great starting spot if you're trying to get a rhythm going, if you're CIU.
1 on for Josh Hernandez, the senior hometown kid from right here in Columbia, has really been one of the mainstays for this Rams offense that's produced so far this season. Hernandez, a 300 hitter.
Most definitely. He's been electric for this team ever since the program started in their very first game here.
Now in the 4th season as a program, fresh off of winning the NCCAA National Championship last year up in Easley. Strike 1 call in the outer half against Hernandez with a runner on. Barhite looks over to first before firing home. Curveball hangs up and away. Count evened up at 1 apiece.
Coming into this game, Hernandez leads the Rams with 6 home runs on the season. He's definitely been having a great season, but he has to get the rest of the troops rallied with him. Not a lot of home runs hit so far.
Hammonds quickly jogging back over to first. Barhite, the lefty, quickly kicking it over. Back in time was Hammonds. 1 on, no outs, in a scoreless bottom first inning. Columbia International, St. Andrews facing off for just the second series all time. 1-1 pitch. A lot of movement on it. Just a fastball, a lot of run. Found its way right down Broadway for a called strike 2. Barhite kicks over to first once again. Back in time is Hammonds. 1 ball, 2 strikes against the Rams' 2-hole hitter in Hernandez. Barhite delivers. Swung on, up and away. Could not connect. Strike 3. And just like that, first out in the books for Josiah Barhite. First strikeout of the afternoon for Barhite, 40th on the year. Meanwhile, Ward Hacklin, the Rams' leading hitter at 364 on the year, stands in with Hammonds on at first. And now once again, we see Barhite, a young pitcher, especially we see this oftentimes in the college game. Once they make the transition, with him being a lefty and seeing the bag clearly, he's going to kick it over more times than not. 1 out pitch on the way. Grounded back up the middle for a base hit into center field for Ward Hacklin. Meanwhile, trying to take third base was Hammonds, and he'll be thrown out. From center field was Blum coming up charging, and Hammonds was trying to be aggressive and put 2 runners in scoring position as Hacklin made his way into second on the throw. Instead, the Rams find their second out. So a single and an advance for Ward Hacklin.
That'll be Hacklin's 29th hit on the year so far.
The Rams still threatening, though. Scoring opportunity not wasted away just yet. Hacklin remains at second base for Buddy Bleasdale. Lefty on righty, first pitch. Right down Broadway, taken for strike 1. That's, what, 2 or 3 now we've seen just in this first inning from Barhite. With enough movement on that fastball, hitters have been hesitant to take swings. 0-1. Driven out of play to the right side for strike 2. If you're Barhite, you get out of a leadoff walk if you can sit down Bleasdale.
Bleasdale is currently second for the Rams in RBIs, so he's definitely trying to tack that on. He's also leading the team in hits.
0-2 punch. Grounded right side of the infield. Vigent is there for out number 3. The Rams strand a runner at second. No runs on 1 hit and no errors. We're scoreless through 1 from Miller Field in Columbia on the CIU Sports Network. We make our way into the top of the second of a scoreless ball game with Columbia International and St. Andrews in AAC play on this Friday afternoon. Kay Crenshaw alongside Corbett Catlett. And Corbett, you look back in that first inning, Justin Parrish used just 13 pitches to get out of it. He did walk a runner, but was able to leave him stranded.
Yeah, I definitely saw a lot of good stuff out of Justin Parrish in the first inning. He's trying to definitely repeat that, but Benfield is one of their top hitters, and he did make it to first. So,
yeah, first pitch here in the second, grounded under the glove, the third baseman, Jan Maldonado. Goes down as a leadoff single from Maldonado. First hit of the ball game surrendered by Parrish. Jeffrey Perez Castillo looks on with one on. Still no outs, top second. Righty on righty. First pitch called, strike one on the outer edge. Perez Castillo at 306 on the year coming into today. 10 runs batted in. The 0-1 dings him in the lower back. That's the first hit batter of today's ball game. Castillo, meanwhile, just the second time he's been dinged this year. The first two batters are on the base paths, not the start of the second inning that Justin Parrish is looking for.
If I know anything about watching JP so far this year, he's had a pretty good record of bouncing back. Hopefully this the start of this inning doesn't get to his head any.
3 pitches thrown from Parrish, 2 batters aboard. First pitch to Salambini into right field for a base knock, and that loads them up. No vacancy left on the base paths for St. Andrews against Justin Parrish, and boy, the righty's really worked himself into a jam here. A leadoff single, a hit batter, and then a first pitch swing from Salambini to load him up.
It's definitely not the ideal spot you want to be in, especially with 0 outs, but he has a very fresh arm still, only having 17 pitches, and hopefully he can get that fastball going.
First pitch to Jackson Snyder, swung on and missed for strike one. Benfield at third, Castillo at second, Salambini at first for Jackson Snyder. The third baseman looks on for the 0-1 pitch. Elevated a little bit too high. Count evened up at 1 apiece. Snyder wearing the number 1 jersey, senior out of Denton, North Carolina. 1-1, grounded foul, third base side out of play. 2 strikes on St. Andrews' 8-hole hitter.
Yeah, definitely got to get at least 2 outs before you get back up to the top of the order, because there's some heavy hitters that are coming.
Bases loaded, no outs in a scoreless game. The 1-2. Down in the dirt, good block on a shuffle from Josh Hernandez, and that's why you count on veteran leadership in the battery. That pitch could have easily got behind him, back to the backstop, and of course that would have brought in a runner from third in the game's first run. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jackson Snyder. Bases loaded with no outs. The 2-2 from Parrish. In the dirt for ball 3. The one thing Parrish definitely doesn't want to do here is walk in the game's first run.
Most definitely, and Josh has done a great job of stopping some of these pitches that are getting away from him.
3-2, foul back. We'll see it again.
Full count, and this is a great opportunity to get the first out, stop the bleeding before it gets any worse.
Infield at double play depth, the bases loaded. 3-2, swung on for strike 3. Parrish left on the inner half. Snyder tried bringing those wrists around in time, couldn't quite catch a piece of it. And out number 1 in the books, and that's really best case scenario if you're Justin Parrish, because now the double play ball gets you out of this inning.
Most definitely, and you couldn't ask for a better time to get your second strikeout of the game.
Bases loaded with 1 down. First pitch to Chance Bloom, called strike 1 in the lower half. A pair of base hits and a hit batter loaded the bases with no outs. Now Parrish has his 59th strikeout of the year. Meanwhile, the 0-1 comes across to Bloom. Outside, count evened up at 1 apiece.
Tried to get him to chase after that one. It was just a little outside.
Parrish, 1-1. Popped up and out of play over the third base side.
The count is definitely in his favor. Hopefully he can keep this going because he's looking nice on the mound so far.
In a pitcher's count, 1 ball, 2 strikes against Bloom. Coming into this afternoon, a .321 hitter. With just 7 runs batted in this year. That's one of the lowest marks across the board for the Knights. The 1-2, up and into right field. Coming home from third is Benfield. Rounding is Castillo as Robert Bell misjudged in right field. This will be a bases clearing double as 3 runs come across for St. Andrews just like that. Boy, what should have been just 1 run, maybe 2, the error from Bell in right allows the bases to be cleared just like that. It's a 3-0 game.
Bloom just upped his RBI number from 7 to 10 with that play. That was a nice hit and a very beneficial error on his part.
A hit with the error goes in the books for Bloom. There, of course, on the right fielder, Rob Bell. Meanwhile, runner stands at second with 1 down for Chris Allen. Retiring the first on a ground out to second base. Parrish really hits him in the hands. Lifts them up in the air to get out of the way. One out toss. Popped up and out of play. Bleasdale tracking it over from first, trying to get there, but it's going to hit off the roof of the dugout for Columbia International. Boy, what just seemed like to be the perfect scenario for Justin Parrish. You get the first out on a strikeout, so no damage done there. Your double play ball possibly. Meanwhile, the result, 3 runs come across thanks to an error.
Yeah, and he still has a lot of potential left to turn this game around, especially if we can start getting the bats cracking on our side of the inning.
The 0-1 pitch to Allen's one that he's going to regret. Tipped it back foul on a check swing. And now he's sitting in an 0-2 hole. Make that a 1-2 hole, excuse me. Parrish looks back to second. The 1-2. In the air to right. Redemption play possibly for Robert Bell as he comes up and snags out number 2. A throw down to third will hold up the runner at second as Allen's retired for the second time today.
If you're St. Andrews, you are not in a bad spot with there being 2 outs. Vigent is leading their team with a 3.95 batting average, so has a chance to either bring in a run or Justin Parrish can really finish out this inning the way he needs to.
Vigent stands in, righty on lefty with a runner on second and 2 down. First pitch from Parrish. Popped up and out. One thing we're seeing early on from the Knights, they're liking the pitches they're seeing. A couple foul tips. We've seen now 3 base hits so far in this ball game.
Yeah, they're definitely swinging the bat, and I think that's part of the reason why JP is kind of throwing at the edges every now and then, but they're swinging a lot, and they have a lot of really efficient batters.
0-1 up and out once again, strike 2. Parrish needing just 1 strike to get out of what has been a disastrous second inning. 3 runs have come across on just 2 hits. The 0-2 in the dirt. Ball 1. Columbia International trying to improve their 4-14 mark in AAC play. Meanwhile, you flip that around, St. Andrews just 4 losses in conference play compared to 11 wins. 1-2. Change-up pitch hung up high. Count evened up at 2 apiece. Runner at second with 2 away. The 2-2. Sent up high in the air, out of play behind home plate. And it's going to drop over by the concession stand. Lucky fan didn't get hit, almost did, but it looked like she missed it.
Might get to take home a souvenir.
Souvenirs, much better thing to take home than a bruise or a concussion.
Most definitely.
Any day of the week.
I don't think they're selling souvenirs over at our concession stand. She's one lucky fan.
2-2 from Parrish. Lifted opposite way into the glove of Maldonado at third for out number 3. Well, St. Andrews brings 3 runs across on 3 hits as they lead Columbia International 3-0. We'll be back for the bottom of the second. We return on the CIU Sports Network. Back at Miller Field as we make our way into the bottom of the second. St. Andrews on top of Columbia International, 3-0. Kate Crenshaw alongside Corbett Callett. And Corbett, you look back to the beginning of this second inning and, well, loading up the bases with no outs was not the start Justin Parrish was looking for. And then a fielding error in right field by Rob Bell allowed an additional 2 runs to come across and increase the damage done in a 3-run frame. And speaking of Rob Bell, he stands in as a hitter to lead off the bottom of the second. First pitch from Barheit. Called strike 1 on the outer edge, elevated.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't the start of the second inning you want to have, but I know Rob is up at the plate right now, just mad at himself, ready to hit. As you saw with that swing, he really wants to swing the bat and hit it hard.
And you feel like that was more of a frustration swing more than
definitely.
anything. A big power cut that was a little bit late. Nothing in 2. Barheit looking for a second strikeout on the evening. On the way. Up and away, and we mentioned it there in the pregame, Corbett, but a little bit of hesitation, just enough funkiness. Bringing that leg in the air and holding it out. Good balance on that back foot. Now a quick pitch. 1-2 called, strike 3 in the bottom half.
Yeah, if you're the staff for St. Andrews, you gotta love what you're seeing on the mound right now. He's been pitching pretty well, and again, as young as the whole bullpen is, you gotta be excited for your future.
Rob Bell retired for the first out in the bottom of the second inning. Rams down by 3 runs. Steps in Cody Trujillo. The second baseman has not had the start of the year he was looking for. Trujillo hitting just .214. Breaking ball from Barheit. Finds the right half of the plate for strike 1. Off speed once again, that time at 69 miles per hour to even up the count.
I've noticed as a lefty, he still kind of paints the right side quite a bit.
Fastball comes in at 78. Up and away, ball 2. Lefty on righty matchup. Infield set standard. 2-1 pitch. Just missing. The bottom corner on the inside half. Ball 3. Barheit delivers. Called strike 2. Nearly the same spot as the pitch we saw just before, but the home plate umpire seeing things a little bit differently, and now count's all full. Trujillo leads the Rams with 40 strikeouts on the year. Barheit, the payoff. Grounded foul, first base side.
I think Trujillo was a little excited to take first plate. He's currently on the season has as many hits as he has walks, so he's got 24 each.
3 balls, 2 strikes to the Rams' 6-hole hitter. Barheit, 3-2. Breaking ball a little bit high. I thought that might have sat him down. It was right in the top half of the zone. Trujillo, not a tall guy in the box, just a little bit below 6 foot tall, but it was right at the letters. That's kind of one of those calls that goes either way.
It was definitely a close one. I was really surprised that they gave it to him, but he's got to be excited to be on first base, and this is a good start to hopefully putting some points on the board.
Second free pass dealt out today from Barheit. Now the 1-out toss to Grant Bodison, taken for strike 1. Up and out, and you feel like that might be a little bit of a moving strike zone compared to what we just saw. Bodison has a few inches in the height category on Trujillo for sure. The 0-1 heater comes across the right half, swung through for strike 2. Jan Maldonado on deck for the Rams. Trujillo on at first. Bodison stands in at the plate. Vigin at second, playing closer to the bag. The 0-2, outside edge, check swing. Infield umpire's going to say he went. Strike 3. A pair of strikeouts in this inning alone, now 3 this afternoon for Barheit. The Rams offense going to have to figure things out. First time through the order, already a third of their starters have been sat down on strikeouts. 2-out toss now to Carter Willis. Trujillo on at first. We'll have to wait as Barheit steps off the rubber. Now refocus his attention to home plate and fires. Called strike 1 across the right half.
Looked a bit outside for me, but it's a good pitch. He's been thrown to that right side a lot.
Jan Maldonado at the dish. 0-1 lifted back into the netting for strike 2. Maldonado on the year just hitting .212. For Columbia International, as they look to pick up win number 14, 2022. 0-2 sails high and outside on the fastball. 2-2. Trujillo on it first, the 1-2. Lifted, shallow center field. Trailing it back is the shortstop, Lawson, as they reel it in for out number 3. Well, the Rams strand a runner, and Cody Trujillo on at first, but nothing more. No hits allowed from Barheit. And the second, we're through 2. St. Andrews leads CIU 3-0 from Columbia. We head into the top of the third. St. Andrews on top of Columbia International, 3-0. Justin Parrish looks on for a bounce-back frame, led off by Noah Lawson. First pitch lifted back into the netting for first pitch foul ball.
Parrish could definitely turn this thing around. He still has a lot of juice left in his arm, I think, and it's only the top of the third, so he has a chance to put together a good game still.
Lawson a lot more eager here in his second plate appearance as he sends that one into the first base dugout. You look back into the first inning, walked on 5 pitches. Already down 0-2, Parrish fires. High and out for ball 1. Lawson batting in the 3-hole. It's 3-4-5 due up. The 1-2. Popped up into foul territory. Bleasdale tracking it from first, but it'll sail back into the tree lining in foul territory.
Seen quite a bit of foul balls in this one. The batters are all trying to swing a lot.
Parrish, 1-2. Bottom corner, a little bit outside to even up the count at 2 apiece. Two. Called strike 3 on the outside edge, and Noah Lawson wasn't happy about it, but he knew it. Turns right around, walked back to the dugout in some frustration. Clearly shown, batting the bat down on the ground, off the cleats as well. Nonetheless, 1 down here in the top of the third. Greg Izzo, cleanup catcher, looks on after striking out looking on just 3 pitches in the first. Base is clear, 1 away for Parrish. He deals high in the air, possible play behind home plate, but Hernandez will let it drop off the bleachers. For one fan to take home a souvenir. Boy, had a little bit of a close call here.
There might be quite a bit of fans taking home souvenirs today.
St. Andrews has shown they're very eager at the plate. The 0-1. Down low. Count evened up at 1 apiece. 1-1 pitch. Driven out of play for strike 2. Parrish steals the 1-2. In the dirt, count evened up. Foul ball once again. That's becoming a trend that I don't think we need to overstate, but it still comes back to the point. This is a St. Andrews offense that, well, they're hitting 308 for a reason because they're eager to find that right pitch. They're going to get hacks on a lot of them. A 2-2.
They've definitely made a lot of contact with a lot of baseballs so far this season, but we're going to run out of baseballs.
Good point. Good point. Not run low on supply. The payoff pitch. Called strike 3 on the inside edge, and Greg Izzo can't believe it. He had tossed the bat to run up the first base line, and he's still talking to the umpire. Izzo not too pleased as he finally walks back into the dugout. That's strikeout number 4 on the day for Parrish. 2-out toss to Joshua Benfield, popped up and out of play.
Even though they've been working the pitch count a lot, you got to be liking this third inning a lot more than the second if you're JP. He's been throwing a lot more strikes. He's been getting a lot more batters aggravated too, that's for sure.
All 3 first pitch swings here in the third. This time, though, driven down the line into left field. That'll be an extra base hit. Rounding first goes Benfield. The throw from Hammonds comes in. It's a sliding double for Joshua Benfield. The first extra base hit of the afternoon. And St. Andrews isn't going away quietly here in the third.
I think Benfield was aiming for that scoreboard. I remember seeing prior to this game they were doing a little BP, and he hit it over the scoreboard 3 or 4 times.
It is between right around 350 to that scoreboard. So if you're going to hit it over, that's definitely some power in a 5-hole hitter. He stands at second for Jeffrey Penrez Castillo. Hit by a pitch back in the second. First pitch from Parrish up and out. Ball 1.
Seen a couple of pitches in that almost same spot, and I've seen them 50-50 so far on strikes or balls.
No doubt, been a much wider zone than usual here today. The 1-0. Called strike 1. Now, one thing you can say, Corbett, has it been a wide zone? Yes. Has it been a wide zone for everyone? That's also yes. It's not a one-way street.
Yeah, it's definitely been fair.
1-1 with a runner at second, 2 away. Parrish deals. In the dirt, good block from Hernandez. Scoop it out. Hernandez started out his college career at UNC Wilmington before deciding to come back home as the Columbia native to join the Rams and the startup program now in its 4th season. Two one. Down and out for ball 3. Three-one delivery. Castillo grounds foul back to the third base side. But now the home plate umpire is going to say that that pitch hit him. Now that's one call that I haven't seen quite too often, is when a player is able to put a barrel on the baseball, it's still ruled a hit by a pitch. That's more of an interesting call there.
Certainly the first time I've seen it this year. Is that the same batter too that got hit by a pitch earlier?
It is. Second time he's been hit.
Interesting.
And actually not going to go hit by pitch. It's catcher's interference, we're now being told. So that explains that one. 2 runners on, 2 down. Parrish has it slip up high. Salambini.
Nonetheless, he's had 2 very abnormal at-bats so far.
A hit batter and a catcher's interference. Any way you can find on the base pass, that on-base percentage is going to go up.
Yeah, I know he's not complaining.
1-0 outside. Make that called strike 1. Like I said, a little bit wider of a zone today. 2 on, 2 down. Salambini. The 1-1. Breaking ball, beautiful. Strike 2.
That was a very uncharacteristic curveball, but he threw it very well. I'm surprised he doesn't throw that more, to be honest with you.
Fastball, changeup, and like you mentioned, the occasional curve. The 1-2, ground hopper up the middle. Trujillo charging from second. Onto the grass, he makes the throw for the third out. A 2-out double doesn't come up with anything as St. Andrews strands 2, yet they still lead it 3-0. We'll be back for the bottom of the third from Columbia. We dip into the bottom of the third from Columbia. St. Andrews sits on top of Columbia International 3-0. The Knights putting all 3 runs on the board back in the second inning thanks to an RBI single from Chance Bloom that followed up with a fielding error. 2 more runs came across. Now first pitch to Carter Willis. Breaking ball pitch off the left side of the plate against the lefty Willis in this lefty-on-lefty matchup with Barheit.
Yeah, if you're Coach JJ, this is probably just how you want to start this inning with Carter at the plate, not only lefty on lefty, but I've said it from the beginning of the season, he is still Mr. Reliable to me. He's usually pretty good in the box.
2-0 at 73 miles per hour, just dipping below the zone, and Barheit kind of looked over to the visitors' bullpen in disbelief. Like, well, where'd that pitch go? Why was it not in the zone? It's already a 3-0 count to Willis. And strike one's called up and out, and that may be one of those that you like to call a gimme pitch. Hey, I missed the last one, going to give you back on this one.
Yeah, and he's been calling a lot on the outside to the right, but this time with the left, he kept it consistent with both sides.
3-1 pitch fouled off by Willis, and a good job here from Barheit. He fell down in the count, 3-0, battled back well, now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to the 9-hole hitter. 3-2 pitch skied back into the netting, and we'll see the payoff once again.
Carter almost got away with one, but now he's got to fight. He's got a little duel going on.
Barheit, 3-2. Driven out of play yet again. 8th pitch of the at-bat upcoming for Carter Willis as he leads off the bottom of the 3rd inning. For the 3rd time, well, we'll have to wait on it. Carter Willis will call time in the box. He doesn't step out. Now the 3-2. Breaking ball pitch on the inside edge, called strike 3. We saw Willis almost take a hack at that, hold back as much as he could, but I think it was going to be a called strike 3 either way.
Yeah, if anything, you still can't say this ump hasn't been fair to both teams. He's called a lot of strikes in a lot of interesting places, I would say.
4th strikeout for Barheit. Now back at the top of the order in Shane Hammonds. First pitch, breaking ball, checks his swing. That's strike 1. Hammonds walked on just 4 pitches to lead off the bottom of the 1st inning. Heater outside edge at 78 misses. Count evened up at 1 apiece. 1-1. Called strike 2, elevated in the zone. Lefty on righty matchup with Barheit and Hammonds. Defensively, the Knights set standard. The 1-2 down in the dirt. Count evened up at 2 apiece. 3 runs on 4 hits with no errors for St. Andrews. Meanwhile, Columbia International, no runs on just 1 hit with an error. 2-2. Check swing down and in, gonna hold back. And now count is full once again. Back-to-back batters for Barheit. At full counts, that pitch count continues to go up for him, nearing 40. A 3-2. Grounded foul, 3rd base side. Close to the line, but it was going to be clearly foul as it bounces off the side fencing. One away. The bottom of the 3rd inning as Carter Willis was retired on strikes moments ago. The 4th strikeout so far of the game for Barheit. Looking for his 5th as we'll see the 3-2 pitch. Driven out of play, back into the netting, and once again, back-to-back batters now, taking Barheit to 8+ pitches in an at-bat.
Yeah, and with those foul balls and all of the pitches he's thrown, I've also noticed a lot of check swings too. It's hard to tell what's going to be a strike and what isn't.
Hammonds fly out to right. Will drop in the glove of Salambini for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd for Barheit as he'll meet up against Josh Hernandez, who struck out back in the 1st. He's only played appearance so far today.
So far, this Rams offense has been pretty dead for the most part, but if you're Coach JJ, this is exactly who you want at the plate because he can turn the offense around in one swing of the bat.
2-out toss. Breaking ball pitch, fouled off to the right side for strike 1. Oh, 1. High in the air, possible play, but it's going to dip out. And you mentioned a little bit earlier, Corbett, but you may run out of baseballs at this rate. I mean, we've seen a lot just escape the field of play. Now they haven't gone very far, obviously. I mean, they can be returned and things like that, but more oftentimes than not, we've seen a couple of the reserve players having to walk along the tree line to go find a few.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit of balls actually go into the woods, and I don't know if we're ever going to find those ones, so I hope we are fully stocked.
The 0-2 misses up and out. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Barheit, 1-2. Third consecutive foul tip from Josh Hernandez. He's not wanting this third inning to end any sooner than it has to. The 1-2 once again, down in the dirt. Izzo, the catcher, really held it up there for a while trying to get the call, but it wasn't there. Bases clear with 2 down. The 2-2. Chop foul by Hernandez. A little bit of a late swing. Possibly saw that one was going to find the zone and didn't want to go down looking. You take a leg hat just to tip it off and stay alive.
Seems like our offense is taking the approach of not getting a lot of hits, but at least getting that pitch count up as fast as possible so they can see the next pitcher at the mound.
Once again, we see yet another foul tip from Josh Hernandez as this at bat alone's nearing double-digit pitches on the afternoon. Barheit nearing 50. The 2-2. Down and in for ball 3. Slow and steady wins the race, as the old saying goes. And, well, Hernandez has definitely extended this at bat. The 11th pitch on the way. The 3-2 misses outside for ball 4. After all those swings and all those baseballs into the trees, it's just a walk.
Who would have thought that it would have taken almost 12 pitches probably to get a walk? It took upwards of at least 8 pitches just to get a full count.
Pinch runner on at first for Columbia International. It's going to be Bennett Johnson. Throw over to first, not in time, getting back to the bag in time. And I said Bennett Johnson, excuse me. It's going to be Aaron Hood over at first, the freshman out of Easley, South Carolina. Check over, throw to first, back in time was Hood.
Despite the 2 outs, they're in a pretty good spot. Hacklin is batting .364 on the year, and they have Hernandez on first. And, I mean, he knows how to run the bases, and Hacklin knows how to hit the ball. So that's a pretty good start for the bottom of the 4th with there being 2 outs.
Foul ball over to the third base side, out of play. And like we mentioned there, Corbin, Aaron Hood pinch running over at first base on the year. As far as the base paths go, hasn't attempted a bag all season. But we've seen a couple pickoff throws, or at least attempts, from Barheit so far. A little bit worried with the runner on. Wind starting to pick up. 2 down the bottom of the 3rd inning. The 1-1 swung through big time by Hacklin. A quick throw from Izzo down to first baseline. Not in time to catch Hood. He's back in safely. The 1-2. Up and out of play. Ward Hacklin, a .364 hitter coming into this ball game. Irmo, South Carolina native out of Dutch Fork High School. Barheit peering in towards home. Time's called by the hitter. Back at it, Barheit never lost his concentration. The 1-2. Fouled off over to the first base side. 3 runs came across for St. Andrews in the top of the 2nd. An RBI single from Chance Bloom. Soon thereafter, a fielding error from Robert Bell in right field allowed 2 additional runs to come across. And, well, that's the only offense we've seen so far. 3-0 game with St. Andrews out hitting the Rams 4-1. A runner on at first with 2 down. Barheit, the 1-2 pitch. Hacklin grounds to the shortstop side of the infield. No throw will be made by Lawson. And that goes down as the 2nd hit of the afternoon for CIU.
We've seen a lot of We've seen a lot of different styles of baseball played so far in this game. We've seen some fast innings where it's been 3 up, 3 down. We've seen this one where he's added almost 20, 30, 40 pitches to his pitch count. It's been a lot.
An extended frame for sure for Barheit. Meanwhile, Buddy Bleasdale stands in with 2 on and 2 down. Runners at first and second. First pitch. Foul back into the netting by Bleasdale for strike 1. And Bleasdale, a player who had his struggles last season, really found his way to the bottom of the order quite quickly on the early portion of 2021. Meanwhile, this year, great bounce-back campaign. Second on the team, hitting .303, and he's back in the 4-hole.
Yeah, he's leading the team with 37 hits, too, so hopefully he can get them on the board.
0-1 pitch, skied up in the air. To the right side of the infield, it's Vigent from second finding it in the evening skies for the third out. Well, the Rams started to show a little bit of a 2-out rally, a walk and a base hit, but they're left stranded, and our score remains 3-0 St. Andrews through 3 here from Columbia. We make our way into the top of the 4th. St. Andrews on top of Columbia International 3-0. As Jackson Snyder leads off things for the Knights. First pitch from Parrish down in the dirt for ball 1.
Hopefully that long time in the dugout didn't get to Parrish any. He sat in there for quite a while, and he's got his hands full with Snyder. He's batting .327 on the year.
Snyder skies one out of play to even up the count at 1 apiece. Parrish readies at the letters, the 1-1. Down in the dirt for ball 2. Parrish, a little bit of hesitation. Now readies the 2-1. Off the plate, ball 3. Boy, one thing that's really hurt Parrish here today is putting early runners on the base paths. You look back in that second frame when 3 runs came across for St. Andrews, and we loaded the bases with no outs thanks to a pair of base hits and a hit batter. Yes. Just like this, he leads it off with a walk.
It seems like it takes him a little bit of time to get back into that rhythm after going into the dugout, which after this last inning I can totally understand. He was in there for quite a while. There was a lot of pitches in that last inning.
Gonna have to need to settle back in as Chance Bloom looks on. So far, the savior for today's game for St. Andrews. The RBI single back in the second sparked their lead. A bunt attempt, though, pops it up into the third baseman's glove, Maldonado, and really a tale of 2 different innings for Chance Bloom. The savior back in the second, and here pops up a bunt for an out.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see him bunt there, but I'm not sure.
Trying to Used the speed to put 2 runners on early. Nonetheless, one's on with 1 down for Chris Allen. The first pitch, swing and miss for strike 1. A big cut there from Allen. He's got a ton of talent. Transfer in from the College of Central Florida. It's JUCO. The 0-1 up and out, but you look at what College of Central Florida has done in recent years, well, nothing too shabby. They just have 28 current players in Major League Baseball farm systems. A ton of talent has come out of that JUCO program. The 0-2 to Allen, called, strike 3 on the outer edge, and boy, that outer edge is pretty lenient. As we've seen a couple times today, from our broadcast position right here behind home plate, and you want to play it fair both sides, and we're trying to here. And that's one of those, I didn't really see it catch any white, but maybe a good job framing it up from Hernandez.
Yeah, and these pitchers are definitely aware of where the strike zone is for this one. They have been throwing it outside quite a bit.
First pitch, Nate Vigent, driven deep into right field, and it's a one-hopper off the wall. Rounding third comes Snyder as the throw is relayed in. Snyder actually going to be pulled back to third. So runners at second and third now with 2 outs. Thanks to the 2-out double for Nate Vigent. Second extra base hit of the afternoon for St. Andrews. And it's Noah Lawson, the shortstop. Walked once, struck out once so far today. Parrish with 2 runners in scoring position. Deals the 2-out toss. It's a called strike 1. A 1. Just off the plate to the right side, and Parrish trying to attack that outer edge. That's gotten a few calls today. That one didn't go his way. Counts evened up at 1 apiece.
That's definitely the smart play, is to play the outside. It's been working for both pitchers so far.
1-1, line shot up the middle, off the glove, Trujillo at second. And into center field it rolls. 2 runs come around to score. St. Andrews has taken a commanding 5-0 lead over Columbia International in the top of the 4th. Goes down as a 2 RBI single for Noah Lawson. Boy, if you're Justin Parrish, you have to think about how some of these strike calls have not gone your way. And first pitch upstairs to Greg Izzo here for ball 1. But also just really you look at how the runs have come across for St. Andrews. An error brings 2 in earlier, and then that right there, a hard hit ball that Trujillo just couldn't quite get to. Had a glove on it, but it went off the lip and into center field. 2 small mistakes, and that's the difference between a current 5-0 game versus what could be just a 1-run game.
Yeah, and Trujillo got himself in a good position on that. It was a hard hit ball, but nonetheless, it is an error, and they're going to have to make plays if they want to stop the second team in the conference.
Lifted into center field. Willis is there for the 3rd out. St. Andrews brings across 2 more as they lead it 5-0 over CIU midway through the 4th. We make our way into the bottom of the fourth. St. Andrews on top of Columbia International, 5-0. The Knights bringing across 2 runs in the top half. Brings up Rock Bell to the dish. The Rams 5-hole hitter 0 for 1. Struck out looking back in the second. Meanwhile, Barheit still in the ball game. First pitch, a breaking ball that just misses, and he can't believe that wasn't a strike.
Yeah, with how this pitch zone or strike zone has been called, I'm surprised it wasn't a strike either. Coming up to this batter, Barheit has 63 pitches so far throughout the game.
Grounded foul from Bell back to the third base side. Count 0-2. Make that count 1-1. Bell grounding and foul. It's strike 2. 5 runs on 6 hits, no errors for St. Andrews. Meanwhile, no runs on just 2 hits for Columbia International.
I think we'll see a little more reserved Rob Bell up at the plate this time. Last time went up with a strikeout, but I know he was going with a lot of aggression after he had that error.
The 1-2 pitch swung through for strike 3. Second time Bell has struck out this afternoon, and the 5th time Barheit has sat down a Ram on strikes. Great afternoon for him, but he's still nowhere near that season high from back last month. In the month of March, had 12 strikeouts in the win over Union. Bases clear with 1 down for Cody Trujillo. First pitch on the way, down the dirt, ball 1. Lefty on righty, Barheit deals. Chopper up the third base line, foul. Just rolling in front of the third base bag to even the count at 1 apiece. Sun beginning to set over Miller Field here in Columbia.
If I'm Trujillo, I'm looking over at left field, and I'm trying to hit it towards their left fielder because that sun, like myself, it is blinding. It is blinding me. And
could get lucky.
Have a hard time tracking that one down.
The 1-1. Outside and away, no doubt about it, ball 2. Keep in mind, folks, we'll be back here with you tomorrow. First pitch set for 1 o'clock. We'll go 9 innings. Following that, a 7-inning contest for the series finale. The 2-1. Grounder up the middle for a base hit. Cody Trujillo with a 1-out single. He reaches base for the 2nd time today, and the Rams pick up their 3rd hit of the ball game. And the only way that you can try to erase a 5-run deficit is 1 swing at a time. You can't really try to do too much at once. Meanwhile, Grant Bossing going to stand in, and he's a player who's looking to get back into a little bit of a hot streak. He's awfully cold here as of late. Went 0 for 10 in the series against Monterey last weekend with 3 strikeouts. Meanwhile, today he's 0 for 1. He struck out swinging in his only plate appearance in the 2nd. Down early in the count, 1-0.
This will be a great time for him to get hot again because this game is still not out of reach. It's only 5 runs, and I've definitely seen crazier things happen on this field.
Bodison started out of high school as a University of South Carolina commit, then ends up going junior college route to Florence Darlington Tech. And now he's here at Columbia International. The 2-0. Grounded foul, third base side out of play. Bottom 4th inning. 1 away with 1 on. The 2-1 pitch. A check swing's going to drop into the infield grass. Bodison racing up the line. Still won't get there in time. And, boy, you have to think, Corbett, if he hadn't hesitated a little bit because he didn't know it was a fair ball. He thought he had checked the swing and it went foul, but just enough. It sat on the dirt, just the trimmings of the infield grass even in front of the battery. He might have even beat it out if he had ran right when he made contact.
I definitely think he would have. I think even he was surprised that he hit the ball. So he's just had a rough go at it lately. Hopefully he can catch some fire before.
First pitch to Maldonado, lifted back into right field, backing up is Salambini. He's there for the 3rd out. The Rams strand a runner at second as they still trail St. Andrews 5-0 through 4 from Columbia.
Welcome back to the CIU Sports Network at Miller Field. About to begin the top of the 5th inning. The sun setting, still a very nice day out. Hopefully we can keep the balls from going into the woods a little bit more. It's been quite a bit of pitches today. This first one's called a ball. Justin Parrish still at the plate with a pitch count of 78. He's got his hands full with Benfield up at home plate. It will be a pop fly to Rob Bell in right field. It's a good start if you're Justin Parrish. Keep the pitches low, get an early out. Up at the plate now is Genfrey Perez Castillo. Another quick one. Could he get him out at first? He does. 2 up, 2 down. Can they keep this trend going? We haven't had a lot of fast innings like this one, and I'm sure Justin Parrish is happy to have one this fast because they've had a lot of long innings so far in this one. Up at the plate now is Salambini. Excuse me if I had that wrong. First pitch is a strike. Ground. I think that'll be an error by Rob Bell. Well, we had 2 up and 2 down pretty quick. He got ahead on that batter with an 0-1, but he made contact with it, went right over to Rob Bell. He was a little off balance. Up to bat now for St. Andrews is Jackson Snyder. He's coming in batting .327, another one of the really good hitters for this St. Andrews team. There'll be another foul ball into the woods again. The count is 1-1. That pitch was a little inside. I'll bring it to 2-1 with 2 outs. 1 runner on first. JP's going to check the runner over at first. That one went pretty high, but we can't track it down. It went over by the softball dugout. That'll bring the count to 2-2 with 2 outs. Ooh. Bell with an unfortunate error. That one took a weird bounce right before it got to him, so that'll now have St. Andrews having a runner on second and first. That'll bring Chance Bloom up to bat again, and he's been successful the first time. Second time went for a bunt. Kind of surprised me after bringing in 3 RBIs. And Justin Parrish will get ahead of him at the start of this with an 0-1 count, 2 strikes, runners on second and first. Saw quite a few people jump at that foul ball. That one went right behind the batter. So low pitch and both runners advance. So now we have runners on second and third, and that'll bring the count to 1-2-2. Bloom's still at bat, and he's already got 3 RBIs in this game, and I'm sure he'd be really excited to bring in a couple more. But JP has a really good chance of closing out this inning. Pitch is a little high, evens out the count at 2-2. A little outside. I think he was looking to get a little favorable call there. He's been throwing outside. Both pitchers have, and the ump has been calling it for the most part. He didn't get lucky, and that'll bring the count to 3-2. Batter's going to take a second, readjust himself. First baseman came off the plate. So that'll go down as an error as Frank Salambini comes in and scores the run. That'll bring us to 6-0. Runners are on the corners with 2 outs. It's a pop fly. Old reliable Carter always brings in the pop flies. And that'll do it for the top of the 5th inning. We'll be right back here at the CIU Sports Network. Welcome back to the CIU Sports Network here at Miller Field. We'll have Carter Willis up to bat with Barheit still at the mound. Score is 6-0, St. Andrews beating the CIU. Carter Willis caught that pop fly that ended the top of this inning. Hopefully he can carry a little bit of that momentum into getting on base. So far, he struck out, and he's only had one at bat. Barheit has been doing a pretty good job on the mound. He's got 5 strikeouts, but 76 pitches. First pitch is a strike on that left outside. Seen him throw a lot to the right outside. Little different territory having a lefty batter up there, but he just threw a ball loading to the left. That'll bring the count to 1-1. That ball had a little bit of movement in it. It was a little to the right, moved to the left. That's going to bring the count to 1-2. Carter swing and a miss. That one, the ump thought it was a little low. He got a favorable look at it. That brings the count to 2-2 for Carter Willis. Pitch is inside. Carter just dodges it. That'll bring the count to 3-2 to open the inning. That one low and outside. Carter will get the walk. CIU will have a runner on first. Coming up to bat is Hammonds. Shane Hammonds on the year, batting 173, looking to catch a little bit of fire, and he has plenty of room to work with, especially after going up on the count 1-0. Has a chance to really start something here with a runner on first, no outs, and up 1-0. It's a pitch right towards the middle. Got him out at second. Got him at first. It's a very nice play from St. Andrews. Unfortunate for CIU. Had a chance to at least get some more runners on base, maybe get somebody home. Shot dead pretty early in the inning. That'll bring us to 2 outs. Up to bat is Josh Hernandez, and if you're looking to start anything, this is the guy you want up at the bat, or with the bat in his hand. He can turn any game around with one swing of the bat. First pitch will be outside. That'll bring the count to 1-0 with 2 outs. Second pitch swung really hard at it. He's trying to get a run on the board for sure. That'll bring the count to 1-1. Hit towards center field. It'll get stopped by the shortstop to bring in the 3rd out of the inning. We'll be right back here at the CIU Sports Network with the top of the 6th.
Back for the top of the 6th from Columbia as St. Andrews sits on top of Columbia International 6-0. The Knights bringing across one more run moments ago in the 5th frame. That's now 3 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, and 1 moments ago here in the 5th as they lead it 6-0. And well, a 6-run deficit prompts a call to the bullpen for Rams skipper Jonathan Johnson as he makes the call to Matthew Flanagan. To make his 3rd appearance of the year, Flanagan so far this season, 2 innings pitched with 1 hit, 3 earned runs, 3 walks to 1 strikeout on the year. Opponents, though, hitting just 143 off of him. If Flanagan is able to step in, trying to take some control, the sophomore lefty out of Augusta, Georgia, really is just right now tasked with keeping the Rams offense an opportunity in this one. You don't want to let the lead grow, or the deficit rather, grow any larger than it already is. You just really try to cruise through this one and head into the doubleheader tomorrow. The Rams, if they don't turn it around, you're going to have to go for the sweep tomorrow to take the series.
Yeah, and they had a lot of potential in that last inning to change it around. They had almost two runners on base, but they turned a double play, brought the count to, brought it to 2 outs with 1 batter left, and they couldn't capitalize on it. But Coach JJ bringing out Flanagan saw that St. Andrews has been pitching a lefty, and he said, well, I'll throw out one of my own. So we'll see what he's got. This is only, like you said, his 3rd start of the season.
Flanagan looks long for Nate Vigent, the 2-hole hitter for St. Andrews. Lefty on lefty, first pitch. Comes in and hits him. Flanagan's going to race this one down the first baseline. Just kind of rung it off. It didn't hurt, right? We're just going to run it out.
Yeah, I think he was thinking, boost the adrenaline, don't feel the pain. So I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing.
To see the name Matt Flanagan makes me think of one of my favorite sports movies, In Trouble with a Curve, starring Clint Eastwood. Well, a character in that movie, played by Justin Timberlake, really enough, was Johnny the Flame Flanagan. And, the character Johnny Flanagan, drafted by the Braves farm system, ends up getting traded to Boston. And, well, Johnny was supposed to be a bullpen guy, and Boston tried to make him into a starter, ends up throwing out his arm, and later becomes a scout, but they called him the Flame because he was throwing 100 miles per hour. Go check it out, Trouble with a Curve. Meanwhile, it's a 1-0 count early on to Noah Lawson. Pitch on the way down and in for ball 2.
Well, with the not a lot of evidence of how he pitches so far, maybe he does have a pretty fire fastball. He's only seen two games so far, so maybe we could see some fire out of him.
Flanagan pick over, throw to first, a little bit lofty. Not really a struggle for Vigent to get back to the bag. Johnny the Flame Flanagan. Here's Matt Flanagan, the 2-0. Called strike 1, dotting the upper outer corner. Flanagan, lefty on righty. The tall man deals. Outside and down for ball 3.
I think he's been taking notes, and he saw that the outside has been very open for strikes lately, and wasn't very favorable there. It was a little too low and outside, but he definitely shouldn't shy away from that.
The 3-1 pitch down below the bottom of the zone. You thought it might have caught that bottom half, and instead it's a 5-pitch walk for Noah Lawson to put the first 2 runners aboard in the top of the 6th.
The ump is definitely not going to give Flanagan any mercy. I thought that one could have been called a strike, but I guess he welcomed him to the mound a little harsh.
It's always difficult when you come out of a bullpen. You see what a strike zone is for a starter, and you step on the mound, and, well, things change up a little bit differently for you. And it does change a little bit. You go from a righty in Parrish to a lefty in Flanagan. That may just be changing how the umpire is seeing the pitches sail in. Meanwhile, 2 runners are aboard for the cleanup hitter, Greg Izzo. Flanagan still no outs, fires. In the dirt, ball 1. Nearly got away from Hernandez, quickly got there. Runners are not able to advance.
An underappreciated trait so far has been Hernandez stopping a lot of wild pitches from getting behind him. He's only had one that I can recall, and even then didn't give up any runs. Only had runners advance to 3rd and 2nd.
Flanagan, the 1-0. Comes in, that'll hit him. On the forearm, that's now 2 hit batters this frame for Matt Flanagan. And here comes Jonathan Johnson, Rams head coach, go to speak to his first call to the bullpen. Flanagan has now loaded the bases. We're going to see a pinch runner stand in here for Greg Izzo, or make that a courtesy runner, excuse me, as jogging onto the field and over to first base. Wearing the jersey number 30 is Caden Santucci, true freshman out of Tampa, Florida, and Riverview High School. Corbin, if you're Jonathan Johnson right now, what do you think you're trying to tell Flanagan as he looks to settle in?
Well, I think right now he's just trying to get him into the rhythm. I don't think he's ready to pull him just yet, or I don't think he's up there, trying to get too much into his head. But Coach JJ does have a little action in the arm barn right now, getting somebody warmed up just in case it doesn't get any better.
Alrighty, warming up deep down the right field line for Columbia International. We're going to try to peer down in there and see who might be throwing. The only difficult part is they have to really turn all the way around. The bullpen, the way it's set up, is they're throwing back towards home plate from the right corner. And, well, we're going to find out sooner rather than later. The call of the bullpen has been made. All Jonathan Johnson was doing there was a little bit of stalling as sprinting on the field for CIU. Their second reliever of the afternoon. And it'll be Gavin Latham jogging on. We'll tell you more about him and his early season. We return to Columbia on the CIU Sports Network. Back still in the top of the 6th inning we are, as St. Andrews sits on top of Columbia International 6-0, and well, the Knights are right where they want to be. Bases loaded, no outs, and it's all thanks to a walk and 2 hit batters, and that was the end of it for Matt Flanagan. 3 batters faced is all he will have this afternoon. The call to the bullpen made to bring in Gavin Latham, who steps in for his second career appearance. The true freshman has just 2 innings under his belt, but a whopping 5 strikeouts.
That, for a freshman, I'm sure that he was so excited after that game. That was the home game that we had here against Aquinas from Michigan. I'm not allowed to say the full word because I'm from Ohio, but he had a great outing his first appearance, so hopefully he can keep some of that magic from his last one.
1-0 count early on to Benfield.
He
2 for 2 today with a double.
Latham has his hands full. This is one of the best batters in the conference that he's going up against for his first at-bat of this game.
Benfield hitting .409 on the year with 12 long balls. That's second in the AAC. Bases loaded, no outs. Latham readies at the letters, the 1-1. Called, strike 2, and Benfield can't believe it. Step out of the batter's box, rolling his own eyes into the back of his head. He knew that was the pitch he wanted. A little bit elevated in the zone, off speed, looking to drive. The 1-2. Down and away. Skip, great block from Hernandez. Took it right off the chest, and that saves a run. Also, we have a defensive change in the field for Columbia International, the new shortstop, replacing Grant Bodison, who had had some struggles in this game, is Chase Hadley, true freshman for Ocoee, Florida. Latham, bases loaded, no outs, the 2-2. Hanging down low for ball 3. Just trying to get the off-speed breaking ball, that late dip, to see if Bradfield would go through it. Instead, he holds back.
Yeah, that dip was a little early. If it would have been just a little later, he would have got it across the plate in time.
3-2, popped up right center field. Rob Bell finding it, reels it in. He'll throw down to third. That means 1 run will come in. That's Vigent from third base. And St. Andrews has increased their lead now 7-0 over Columbia International.
I liked what I saw out of Gavin Latham in his first against his first batter so far. That was one of the best batters in the conference, and this is only his second start. And he didn't sit him down, but he was very close to, and then to get the pop fly is not a bad start.
Castillo looks on with runners at first and second, and 1 out. Called strike 1 on Castillo with 1 away. St. Andrews up 7-0 in the top of the 6th. Latham deals just outside. Count evened up at 1 apiece. Of course, it's April Fool's Day, but make no joke about it. St. Andrews has one of the best offenses in the conference. 2 of the top hitters, not only in average, but also in the long ball. Boy, Castillo hung in there for a while on that one, nearly clipped him.
Yeah, that was a close one.
He never moved, but, well, you look at how Castillo's reached base today. He was hit once, then catcher's interference on the other. Well, he's found a way on the base paths however he can out of the 6 hole. Latham deals the 2-1, big cut, couldn't connect for strike 2. Two on, 1 away. The 2-2. Castillo grounds to the right side. Trujillo's there in time for 1. The flip, the double play. Throw off the mark from Bleasdale. The run will come in to score, and it's now 8-0 St. Andrews. And now we're going to see Jonathan Johnson step out of the Rams dugout, I believe, to appeal that there might have been some interference on the slide into second base to take Hadley out off his feet.
I couldn't get a clear-eye view of it at the time. I was too busy looking over at first to see if they were going to get it. That would explain a lot more why that was such a wild throw.
Nonetheless, 2 down in the top of the 6th. An 8-0 game. Latham prepares and fires. Down low in the dirt is ball 1 to Frank Salambini. Singled back in the second. Ground ball right back to the pitcher. That's the 3rd out. 2 more runs come across for St. Andrews. They lead it 8-0 midway through the 6th on the CIU Sports Network. We make our way into the bottom of the 6th. St. Andrews in complete control in the opening game of the three-game set against Columbia International. They lead at 8-0. First batter of the bottom of the sixth inning is Ward Hacklin. First pitch on the way from Barheit. Call strike one on the outer edge.
Barheit coming into this inning has 87 pitches thrown so far. You got to wonder if coach is looking to try to get the mercy rule and save all of his pitchers for the rest of the series, or maybe they have another upcoming game soon.
I was talking with Andy Fox, now in his sixth year at the helm of St. Andrews pregame, and just simply asked him, hey, what's a good day for Josiah Barheit? And he simply put, if he can go 6 or more with 4 earned runs or less, it'll be a tremendous day. Well, he's well on his way to going 6 or more, and he's allowed just 3 hits to a Columbia International offense that won the national championship a year ago. The 1-0, or excuse me, the 1-out pitch is grounded onto the third base side into the outfield grass by Buddy Bleasdale for a 1-out single.
Surprisingly, as good as Barheit's been, he's only got 5 strikeouts so far in this game, and that kind of stood out to me. But these outfielders and infielders have been playing outstanding so far. Not much has gotten past them. If anything, they have no errors so far. So
one thing you can say is Barheit's just let his defense play. If you can, anytime a pitcher, you can relax, let your defense play behind you. You know you're not a big strikeout guy. It can work in your favor. First pitch to Rob Bell off the outer half. Ball 1.
The ump has definitely tightened up that strike zone. I have seen a lot more balls that were called strikes earlier today now are now called balls.
Barheit missing. That's 2-0. Now 92 pitches in the books for Josiah Barheit. One on, one down. Rob Bell. Hard hit ball into left field. It's going to drop for a little blooper single right at the feet of the left fielder, Allen. And just one away, the Rams might have something. 2 runners aboard for Cody Trujillo.
Looks like there's some action going on in St. Andrews Arm Barn right now. So Barheit does have a lot of pitches so far in this game, as we'll have Cade scope out the Arm Barn and see who's warming up for us.
Just some simple stretching going on. No throws being made yet in the bullpen. Barheit missing up and away to Trujillo. Count 1-0. Back-to-back singles from Bleasdale and Robert Bell. Have 2 on with 1 away in the 1-0 pitch. Lifted, opposite way into right field, tracking it down is Salambini. Bleasdale will not tag up. A great throw from right field over to the third base bag, and that's 2 outs.
Yeah, it's a good thing he stayed at second. That was a good throw. It would have been very close, if not definitely out at third.
Two down as Columbia International Sports Information Director Gordy Frierson trying to pull a kid away from the netting. Don't want him to stand too close. Just trying to get a good look at the ball game, but couldn't stand too close. 2-out toss, up and out. Ball 1. Off-speed breaking ball in for strike 1 for the first time today. We see Chase Hadley at the plate. Just 2 hits on the year and 22 at-bats. Batting under 100, the 1-1. Hadley back into the netting for strike 2.
Seen a little bit of time since we've seen a long at-bat.
At one point back in the third, you remember, Corbett, we saw back-to-back players take Hadley to 8+ pitch at-bats, one of which got to 13 throws. The 1-2 to Hadley swung through for strike 3. And Josiah Barheit has gone 6 strong for St. Andrews. Meanwhile, Columbia International strands 2. It's 8-0 Knights through 6 here from Columbia. Jackson Snyder set to lead off for St. Andrews as we begin the top of the 7th. Ninth leading 8-0. Latham first pitch swung through for strike one. And early on, Gavin Latham just in his second career appearance, 2 innings previously. He's looked really strong. 5 strikeouts coming into this ball game through 2 innings pitched, and well, so far he shut down St. Andrews best he could.
Yeah, and he had a chance early on to put down their best batter with a full count, but it was a pop fly, and they did get the out.
Bell trying to find the nighttime skies. Indeed he does. That's the first out in the top of the 7th inning. Of course, if you were to try to find where the run rule comes into effect, well, St. Andrews leads at 8-0. In order for this game to be shortened from anything past 9 innings before that, it would have to be 10-0, or excuse me, a 10-run lead. Let's say that, a 10-run lead through 7. 1-out pitch on the way to Chance Bloom off the plate for ball 1.
Now, I don't want to jinx anything, but based off of what we've seen out of Gavin Latham so far, I don't think that's going to be the case. But, again, don't want to jinx anything.
Count evened up at 1 apiece. Bloom showed bunt, then pulled back. Righty on lefty. Latham fires. Down and in. It's ball 2. A big weekend here in the Midlands of the Palmetto State, of course. You have this series at Miller Field. Ground ball up the middle. Hadley's at short. That's the second out of the inning. But also you look to other area schools around the metropolitan area in the capital city. You've got South Carolina, of course, the women's basketball team, the Final Four here tonight against Louisville. Their 4th Final Four under Dawn Staley, trying to chase after their 2nd national championship following up 2017. Meanwhile, you also have Gamecock baseball and Gamecock softball, both at Missouri, the other Columbia, as folks around here like to say this weekend. So a lot of eyes on athletics for the first weekend in April.
Most definitely. We still have some March Madness to look forward to this weekend.
I got Duke, North Carolina in the Final Four. That's always exciting. Coach K's final year. Meanwhile, I feel like, you know, what's going to be a really good game still. Hard hit ball deep into left field, and it's over the wall and gone. A 2-out bomb for Chris Allen makes this a 9-0 game. Wow. Just like that, Allen one swing, and it didn't look like he had much power in it. Chris Allen leaving the yard over the left field fence. That's his 13th home run of the year. That's 2nd in the AAC, and a team high as well.
He just separated himself from his own teammate, Benfield. They were tied at 12 at 2nd place in the conference. He now took over as the solid number 2.
Not sure, though, if you look up at Tennessee Wesleyan and the year that Reynoso is having, 17 bombs so far for Levon Reynoso. Boy, the Bulldogs ranked 2nd in the country in the latest NAIA coaches poll.
Yeah.
They look to be pretty unstoppable. I mean, you look overall, 33-2 on the year, 15-0 in the conference heading into this weekend. But, you know, Corbett, let's get back to the Final Four conversation. I feel like, you know, Villanova and Kansas is going to be a great game.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to get extremely overshadowed. Here's a pop-up into shallow right center field. That Willis is there for the final out. But it's going to be overshadowed definitely by Duke, North Carolina. We'll talk more when we come back. It's 9-0 St. Andrews. It's time to stretch midway through the 7th here in Columbia. We make our way into the bottom of the 7th. All the stretching has been done. Cracker Jacks have been 8, and meanwhile St. Andrews still leads it 9-0. As Carter Willis will stand in or make that Jan Maldonado, Carter Willis in the on-deck circle. Josiah Barheit back out for, as he attempts to go 7 strong. The 1-0. In the dirt, skipping back here, almost caught it. The netting had it being there. That's 2 balls, no strikes. But we go back to the Final Four conversation, right? Duke, North Carolina, big monumentous matchup. All eyes are going to be on it.
It's probably the most anticipated game of my lifetime, except maybe Duke, North Carolina when Zion Williamson was there, when ticket sales were upwards of $5,000 a piece.
Boy,
and I think we had former presidents there. And
you just hope that this game actually lives up to the hype that one didn't. Remember, in the first few minutes of that matchup, Williamson was on a fast break and blew through his shoe. That was the big controversy.
After about 11 seconds of play at that.
Less than a couple minutes into the game, Zion Williamson's shoe breaks, and he has some type of a foot or lower leg problem because of it and has to exit the game, and that's it. So you had a ton of hype going in, and it didn't live up to it. And that's what I think this one is. I mean, don't get me wrong. These two teams have played really good games in the regular season. But there's just so many fun storylines that you can look forward to in this one. It's not just a Final Four game.
Most definitely.
You add in, it's the Tobacco Road rivalry. It's Coach K's final season as he looks to avenge what would be a horrible loss to end on, right? Your final home game, you drop it to your huge rival. And you know that one's going to sting, but I don't know. I mean, Coach K, 47 years, it's not easy to beat the man twice, especially this close to each other. I mean, less than a month separated between the two games.
Yeah, they've definitely been, I mean, they're the textbook definition of rivalry. I mean, they've been so even ever since Coach K, Roy Williams, Dean Smith. It's been so historic. And then, to leave that bitter taste in Coach K's mouth, I know he's coming back with a lot of vengeance. And with that being said, both teams have been playing extremely well in the tournament. And I feel like unless there's big injuries, it's got to be a big game. It's going to be a great one, a nail-biter.
Now, I've got to ask you this. Bigger rivalry, Duke, North Carolina, or one you're involved in, Michigan, Ohio State? That's going to be the big debate point here is Shane Hammonds takes a ball down low, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Personally, I would have said North Carolina Duke, and I probably still should, unbiased, but my biased self, I say Ohio State Michigan because I have a very bitter taste in my mouth right now with them.
You can say Duke, North Carolina. You can say Ohio State, Michigan. None compare to the rivalry of Columbia International and Columbia College here in the Midlands. The Rams and the Koalas. Bitter rivals.
No
bitter
doubt
rivals
a big one.
on opposite sides of town. Just a couple miles separate those two rivals. The 2-2 on the way to Hammonds. Down in the dirt, it's ball 3. 9-0. St. Andrews on top. They brought 3 across in the second, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and then same sequence. 2 in the sixth and 1 in the seventh. 9 runs on 7 hits. Meanwhile, the Rams have been held scoreless, totaling just 5 hits today, but 4 costly errors have been the difference maker. Called strike 3 on the inside edge. Sits Hammonds down for out number 2. And, you know, the hit category not all that far off, 7-5, but 4 errors are going to make the difference in the game.
Yeah, no doubt. And the Rams have definitely gotten up to the plate, swinging hard at a lot and swinging the bat a lot. I mean, the pitch count speaks for itself. He's got 111 and 11 pitches for Barheit. And, I mean, he stayed up on the mound. There's just been errors on the defense for CIU.
Rubber arm out there for Josiah Barheit, the true freshman out of North Carolina. 2 down and 1 on for Josh Hernandez. First pitch sailing high. Count 1-0. Lefty on righty with 1 on. The 1-0 on the way. Foul back into the netting for strike 1. These two teams back in action tomorrow. A 1 o'clock first pitch for a 9-inning contest. About a 30 to 45-minute break. Got to reset the field. Everyone stretch, rehydrate, maybe eat a granola bar and a banana. We're back out there for game 2, which will go 7 innings for the season finale.
And another, back to the March Madness thing, it's completely overlooked, like we mentioned before we went into our last break, is the Kansas game, Kansas-Villanova. That is arguably a better game, and it just gets forgotten about.
We are through 7 innings from Miller Field. 9-0. Our score, St. Andrews has cruised this afternoon. They'll look to do the same as we make our way into the 8th. We'll be back for more from Columbia on the CIU Sports Network. We make our way into the top of the 8th inning. St. Andrews on top of Columbia International, 9-0, and the Rams have made a call to the bullpen. Now using their 4th pitcher of the night, they welcome in true freshman left-hander Mason Lynch out of Florence, South Carolina. First pitch, ball 1, hanging down low. Lynch set to make his 4th appearance of the year. 9 1/3 innings, giving up 9 hits, 9 earned, with 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. 1-0 pitch lifted out of play into the tree line to even up the count at 1 apiece as Lynch enters with an ERA at 8.68.
Looking back at how Gavin Latham pitched, I guess we kind of got a little bit of a look at
1-1 down the line, foul in the corner.
We got a little bit of a look as to what kind of pitcher he is. He didn't pitch bad, but he only pitched for a short amount of time. I was surprised to see J.J. pull him, but he must see him as more of a closer role maybe. But again, for only his second start, I thought he pitched pretty well.
You also don't want to use young arms too much early on in their young careers. You want to push things, push the agenda, keep those pitch counts a little bit low, and I'm sure Latham was on a low pitch count, a short leash probably.
That rule applies except when you're talking about Josiah Barheit. He has had a long game today.
Barheit, the starter, has thrown 7 today for St. Andrews. The pitch count well into the 120s as the 2-2 pitch is sailed back into the backstop. No outs as we lead off the top of the 8th with Noah Lawson. The 2-2 swung through on the outer edge for strike 3. 1 down, Mason Lynch notches strikeout number 4 on the year and in his career as well. Now 1 down for Greg Izzo. Catcher looking to bring across the 10th run with one swing of the bat like Chris Allen did back in the 7th. And, of course, if he does, you hit that 10-run rule. Columbia International can't respond in the bottom half. This game ends in 8. Pitch outside, ball 1.
Would like to speak on the loyalty of the fans here. Not very many people have left so far despite the score. Just another feather in the cap of why CIU might just be better than Columbia College.
Boy, big words right there, man.
That's the rivalry.
Better hope the wrong people aren't listening. The 1-1. Chopper over to the shortstop side. Hadley's there, going to be a tough throw to make, and it pulls Bleasdale up and off the bag, although I don't think it would have gotten there in time anyway. And that's just a miscommunication error right there between Maldonado and Hadley. Neither one really knew who was going to take it. Maldonado had the charge, but then he almost held back to let Hadley take it on the hop. That would have been one heck of a throwdown back over to first. You'd have to have a cannon of an arm at shortstop to make that throw. A Division I arm to make that throw over. That's never going to be easy, even for the Division I guys. Nonetheless, 1 on, 1 down. First pitch to Benfield popped out of play for strike 1.
Benfield is definitely going to be swinging hard at these balls with a young pitcher at the mound and a chance to end the game. I know he's hungry for the ball.
A 1 delivery, off speed, caught him, swung through for strike 2. A little bit tipped back into the catcher's mitt as well.
Yeah, I think he lost a little bit of his touch on that one. He swung really hard because that ball was a little slow coming over the top.
0-2, chopped that high for strike 3. Boy, Benfield's going to wish he had that one back. That was one that he dug the foot in the back of the box, brought the bat over the shoulder, almost like a Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber, swung at it.
It's like he was going fishing.
Couldn't connect. 2 down in the top of the 8th with a runner on. Brings in Castillo. Defensively, the Rams set standard. 2-out toss. Swung through for strike 1. Lynch readies and fires. A 1 pitch back into the netting for strike 2. 9 runs on 9 hits today for St. Andrews. You look across the board, they just had a tremendous offensive afternoon. You talk to Andy Fox, pregame head coach of the Knights, and just simply pose the question, so how's the offense been this year? Well, we've been okay. Well, you're not wrong. Hitting .308 as a ball club. Here's a hard hit ball into left field. Hammonds is there, and it's the 3rd out. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. St. Andrews puts 1 aboard, but can't come up with anything. It's 9-0 Knights. We'll be back on the CIU Sports Network. We're back for the bottom of the 8th inning. St. Andrews on top of Columbia International, 9-0, and well, it took until the 8th, but Andy Fox has elected to make a call to the bullpen, and what a start it was for Noah Barheit. We'll get his final line here in moments, but a call to the bullpen has been made, and Brendan Billy steps in to make his 9th appearance on the year. That's third most on the night squad with an ERA at 4.06 across 37 innings pitched. He steps in, but also we have a change in the battery as well. Now catching is Samuel Rosario, the sophomore out of Lenore, North Carolina. First pitch from Billy. Down and away, ball one.
It's been quite a few innings since we've seen a right-handed pitcher.
Going lefty to righty, but you look back at the night that Barhart had this afternoon. Pitch back into the netting. Count evened up at 1 apiece. A true freshman out of North Carolina, Barheit stepped in, went 7 strong with 5 hits, no earned runs, no runs at all, in fact. 5 walks and 7 strikeouts. It's Ward Hacklin at the dish. 2-1 the count on Billy. Or from Billy, I should say, as he offers up the 2-1 pitch, winding and firing. Opposite way, back towards the wall, going to be a tough one, and it bounces off the wall. Hacklin going to have extra bases. He's jogging into a stand-up double. And if you're Ward Hacklin, you have to be pleased with that. His 7th double in 2022.
Well, that's what the Rams have been looking for all along, but it looks like it's going to be a little late. It's not impossible, but it is a little late. But there is a new pitcher out there, so we'll see what they can do with it.
You couldn't really push Barheit any further than he went. The true freshman we mentioned going 7, but it wasn't easy. 115 pitches for him tonight. First pitch to Buddy Bleasdale with a runner on at second and Hacklin. Still no outs early on in the bottom of the 8th. Billy called strike 1 across the right half. Billy readies at the letters. A 1 pitch down and away. Count evened up at 1 apiece. Nine runs on 9 hits for St. Andrews. Meanwhile, Columbia International still looking to bring across their first run tonight as they've totaled 6 hits and 4 errors. Bleasdale going opposite way on the 1-1 pitch. Right into the glove, though. Salambini. The throw over to the third base bag nearly catches Hacklin, but he's there in time. On the sac fly will go in the books for Buddy Bleasdale, and the Rams are that much closer to bringing across their first run of the night here in the 8th, with Robert Bell soon to step to the dish.
I would have not thought that there would have been such a threat to him getting out at third, but he launched that ball from our old scoreboard in right field all the way to third, right where it needed to be.
1-out toss to Bell. Switch hitters moved opposite side now from the right side of the plate now to the left side of the plate. If you're a hitter, for instance, left-handed hitter against right-handed pitcher with Hacklin on at third in a 9-0 game. The 1-0. Dipping inside for ball 2. Two-0 offering, grounded up the first base side, foul, just to the right side of the bag. Hacklin at third with 1 down. The 2-1 toss. Just in the bottom of the zone, didn't quite catch for ball 3. 3-1 delivery. Swung through for strike 2. Just like that, Bell was going for the fences. In deep right field, count all full. 1 on, 1 down. We'll soon see the payoff pitch.
If he would have connected with that one, we would have lost a ball for all the right reasons, whereas earlier we lost a lot of them because they were fouls.
Bell popping it up. Gonna bounce over back towards the soccer field. Out of play. Bell battling. 7th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. The 3-2 once again. Up and out for ball 4. And we see why Andy Fox wanted to stretch Barheit's outing as far as he could with Billy's early struggles. Gave up the leadoff double to Hacklin. Now with 1 out. He's got runners on the corners. Cody Trujillo stepping to the dish. Billy raises the letters for the righty-on-righty matchup. 1 out toss just off the plate. It's ball 1. One-0. Trujillo is going to watch strike 1 dip into the zone.
Real surprised with that one. That one looked really low from here, but I'm not the ump. I couldn't see.
The 1-1 pitch. Trujillo back up the middle in the air. Tracing it over from center is Bloom. His throw home is going to be off the mark. Hacklin sprints across the plate, and it's 9-1. But, boy, if Bloom's throw had been on target, I think Hacklin may be out.
Honestly, these outfielders, they have cannons. They've really impressed me with their arms.
It's now 9-1, St. Andrews. Rams bring across their first run.
I know that left fielder's just waiting for his chance to show off his arm too, because we've seen a lot out of the other two.
See the 2 head coaches along the third base side communicating a little bit. Jonathan Johnson and Andy Fox speaking to each other. 2 out pitch, Chase Hadley off the plate and away. Strike 1. Swung through for strike 1. Rob Bell on it first with 2 away. The 0-1 pitch, Hadley sends it back into the netting for strike 2.
Hear a little action over from the soccer fields. I know they have a lot of energy right now after the World Cup qualifying, seeing how the tables fill out.
Yeah, USA going to be matched up with England, Iran, just 2 of the 3 members in their Cup qualifier. The 0-2. Hadley, grounder, third base side. That's a fair baseball, and Billy's going to slip as he tried to get to it. Safe at first will be Hadley on an infield single. You could say hit or an error. I think that's a hit either way, because even if Billy was able to get there, knowing Hadley's speed, that was going to be a tough play to turn around and try to make.
Yeah, I'd have a tough time saying that that's an error when he was on first base almost before he could even get his hand on the ball. I mean, he was moving.
2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 run has already come across for Columbia International, trying to add on to it. 2 on and 2 down. It's Jan Maldonado. Righty on righty. 2 out toss from Billy. Called strike 1 on the breaking ball. Outer half of the dish. Oh, 1. Maldonado swings through for strike 2, and that's when he's going to wish he had back. A swing that When you've already came too far around, you can't pull it back in enough time. You have to let it go. And it looks ugly.
Yep, you're just going to have to take that one. Unfortunately, it puts him down 0-2.
2 on, 2 down. As Billy looks to get out of the 8th inning, allowing just 1 run to score. The 0-2 punch. Driven back up the middle, in the air. Bloom's there for the 3rd out. We head into the 9th. Columbia International brings across 1 run, yet they still trail 9-1 from St. Andrews here in Columbia. Eight innings in the books. We head into the 9th. St. Andrews on top of Columbia International, commanding 9-1 lead. And, well, as the old expression goes, you're on the road in the top of the 9th inning. You just try to add on a few insurance runs. Well, when you're leading by 8, you don't know just how much insurance you need against a Rams team that's totaled just 1 run on 7 hits tonight. Meanwhile, first pitch here in the 9th inning from Mason Lynch is a called strike 1.
We also have a fan favorite who entered the game, Deuce Bailey at catcher.
Bailey behind the dish, replacing Josh Hernandez. One, grounded back foul towards the wall for strike 2. Bailey, a senior out of St. Matthews, South Carolina. Cavalry Day School in his prep years. And a called strike 3. Strikeout number 1 here tonight for Mason. As Lynch sets him down, that's 1 away. And now we see a pinch hitter step in for St. Andrews. It's Javian Mitchell, hitting .205 this year. 9 for 44 at the dish with a double and a bomb. Mitchell, a junior out of Madison, Florida. 1 out pitch off the plate. Count 1-0. These two teams back at it tomorrow. 1 o'clock first pitch for a doubleheader. The 1-0. Outside and down for Lynch. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Lynch missing. It's 3 balls, no strikes with 1 away, and the base is clear.
Didn't pitch too bad in the last inning. Hopefully he can pick up the pace a little bit.
There it is. Called strike 1, dotting the upper outer corner.
Right on cue.
Ball 4 finds its way out of the zone. A 1 out walk goes in the books for Javian Mitchell. Now we see yet another pinch hitter step in. It's Brian Encarnacion, hitting .275 this year for his first at bat here tonight. Leads the team with a pair of triples this season. Encarnacion, just a sophomore out of Dominican Republic in Guilford Tech Community College. First pitch from Encarnacion, a big cut. He lost the bat out of his hand.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of that energy from his dugout. They're really cheering him on a lot over there.
9-1 our score. St. Andrews on top of Columbia International. Meanwhile, in the women's Final Four, end of the third quarter nearing, South Carolina leads Louisville 54-46. Encarnacion, a gapper into the right center field grass. Mitchell rounding second. He'll go for third. And with one down, St. Andrews not letting the foot off the gas pedal. Runners on the corners for the Knights.
Encarnacion added to his hits on the season, brings him up to 15.
Lynch going to retie the left shoe as we see yet another pinch hitter step in for St. Andrews. That'll be Chris Lee, .250 on the year. Lee just 1E, LE, true freshman out of Warner Robins, Georgia, Houston County High School. On the corners with one down in a 9-1 game. Lynch fires. Called strike one on the outer edge.
I know he didn't want to jump the gun and swing on the first pitch, but he had a really good opportunity to make good contact with that ball.
Oh, 1. Foul back into the netting for strike two. Lynch called strike three on the outer edge, and just like that, we see Lee sat down on 3 pitches for 2 outs and runners on the corners. And make it 4 in a row. Yet another pinch hitter stepping in for St. Andrews. It's Adrian Ohea, hitting .229 this season. 3 doubles on the year with 9 runs batted in, trying to hit double digits with a runner on at third and Javian Mitchell.
Seen a lot of freshman action. I think all of these pinch hitters have all been freshmen, haven't they?
Well, anytime you get this late into a game with this big of a lead, you get some younger guys, some experience, and just to see, well, you never know what's going to happen over a course of a season campaign. You can have, unfortunate injuries come up or transfers. We have the transfer portal now, which always throws a wrinkle in things. So you never know when you might have to count on some of these freshmen to step in. Anytime you can have an opportunity like this to where your starters have done a good enough job, well, you feel comfortable rolling the dice a little bit. Right back up the middle. Hadley's not going to get there from short. 1 run will score. Second runner held back up at second. It's now 10-1, St. Andrews. Now Bryson Seymour will stand in as yet another pinch hitter. The utility player at 6 foot, 225 pounds, in Marion, North Carolina. Now Seymour's a player we figured to see out of the bullpen more than likely for St. Andrews at some point tomorrow, but Seymour's an interesting case. We mentioned he's a freshman, but he's played 4 years of college baseball. Now get this, you have the COVID year of eligibility plus the extra year back. Then he played Division III last year at Virginia Wesleyan, so that year doesn't count against his eligibility. So this is just a freshman player with 4 years experience.
That is a very interesting case.
0-1 down and away.
So NCAA eligibility doesn't count towards NAIA eligibility.
Correct. 2 on, 2 down. The 1-1. Grounder to the left side. Hadley charging, loses the ball. Out of his glove, 1 run, tries to come home to score. The tag, not in time. It's 11-1 St. Andrews here in the 9th. 2 runs have come across.
That was a very close call. From here, it looked like he might have made the right call.
Definitely was safe with the plate. Let's go back to what started all that. It's definitely going to be an error against Hadley at shortstop because what he did, he had the scoop up and was going to just try to take the easy road out, keep it in his glove, go step on the bag. Instead, you just set your feet still, collect in the ground ball, carry it over, or make the throw. Can't get like today's go here late in the game. That's why you're down 11-1 with 2 down in the top of the 9th. 2 on, Lynch fires. Breaking ball down the dirt for ball 1. Up high, ball 2. Meanwhile, Samuel Rosario, who caught the bottom of the 8th inning, stands in as a 184 hitter. His first plate appearance here today. It's 2 balls, no strikes to him. Ball 3 up high. No, make it a called strike 1. It's a 2-1 count to Rosario. Make that 3-1 count. Excuse me, it's ball 4 up high. And the bases are now loaded with 2 outs.
Rosario draws the walk. That'll load the bases for the nice. Number 9. Javier Sakara will be the hitter.
Now Javier Sakara steps in as a pinch hitter. He's a pretty good one. Hitting .486 this season. He leads St. Andrews offense overall, but it's across just 35 plate appearances in 14 games. 3 doubles, a triple, and a bomb with 11 runs batted in. Lynch deals with 2 down, and the base is loaded, missing high for a ball. One-0. Sakara watches it miss for ball 2. At this point, if you're Columbia International, you just want to stop the bleeding. 2 more runs have come across, and the bases are loaded. The threat of more scoring.
Yeah, and Coach JJ looks like he's going to trust his guy. There's nobody stretching out in the bullpen, which it is really late in the game. But see if he can close it out. There is 2 outs. It's been at 2 outs for a while, adding a bunch of runners to the bases.
2-1 pitch. Off the plate outside, it's ball 3. 1 more, and a run walks in. It's a 12-1 game. Up high is ball 4. Bases loaded walk dealt out by Lynch. And now we see some activity starting to warm up in the CIU bullpen. Caden Santucci looking to stand in as yet another pinch hitter. Adding 200 this season. That's now the 6th pinch hitter we've seen in the 9th inning?
Yeah, it's been an entirely new roster. We'll see who actually ends up going out and playing defense for them, too.
I know, that's one thing you hate to be the official scorer here tonight is figure out where all these pinch hitters are going as defensive subs in the bottom half of the 9th. Glad that's not me. 2 down. It's 12-1. St. Andrews with bases loaded. Lynch, 2-0. Swung through for strike 1. Lynch shakes off a pitch, now winds. 2-1 breaking ball in for strike 2, and what seemed like to be evading him for so long, the 3rd out could be near. Bases loaded, 2-2 pitch. Hard hit ball into the left, moving up is Hammonds. He's there for the final out. Well, 2 more runs, make that 3 more runs come across as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 12-1. St. Andrews will be back for the final 3 outs when we return to Columbia. We make our way into the bottom of the ninth inning. The Rams down to their final 3 outs, trailing 12-1 to St. Andrews. And of course, it's going to be a comeback for the ages if they can do it. Carter Willis, first pitch swing and miss for strike 1.
A little surprised. We've seen a couple young people coming out of the arm barn, but we still have our starting batters out there so far. Carter Willis still at the plate.
Well, you know, this late in the game, you have to put your best out there and hope for the best. And I'm sure that's in part what head coach Jonathan Johnson's trying to do. Ooh. 0-1 to Willis, down and in. Count evened up at 1 apiece.
That ball was a little close.
These two teams will be back at it tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Doubleheader slated, 9 innings, then 7 innings.
In case anybody missed it, our game tomorrow did get moved. It was originally a noon start time. It's now a 1 o'clock start time.
Nothing like a little bit more action under the lights late in tomorrow's second game. Willis going to go down swinging for the first out in the bottom of the ninth. And that'll take us back to the top. Columbia International still down 12-1, down to their final 2 outs. I'll go back to the leadoff hitter, and Shane Hammonds. One out offering to the leadoff left fielder. Called strike 1. Fresh arm on the mound in Compton. Senior Lucas Compton of High Point, North Carolina. The righty deals the 0-1. Breaking ball in there for strike 2.
Started with a out, his first batter against, and it looks like he could have a chance to do the same thing with this next batter.
Hammonds trying to keep this ball game alive for CIU. The 0-2 upstairs, ball 1.
It's a little high, but it was close. I could have seen the ump call on that a strike, but I think he wants to see a couple more pitches.
The 1-2 in the dirt, count evened at 2 apiece. Twelve runs on 11 hits tonight for St. Andrews. 1 run on 7 hits with 5 errors. For Columbia International, going to have to clean things up defensively for the series finales tomorrow. Hammonds goes down swinging. That's 2 away. It'll all fall on the shoulders of Josh Hernandez. St. Andrews put 3 runs on the board in the second, and then went 2 runs in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, before tacking on 3 in the 9th.
Compton's doing pretty good so far in this one. He's got 2 strikeouts against the 2 batters he's faced, but he is about to go against the best batter CIU has today, so we'll see what happens.
Righty on righty with 2 down. Compton deals. Off the plate and away. Back to the backstop. It bounces for ball 1. Base is clear with 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th inning, the 1-0. Chopped out of play in a big-time swing into the tree line at Sales. The 1-1. Hard shot, line drive, base hit into left field for Josh Hernandez. That will extend this outing by one more. And in will stand Ward Hacklin. 2 down in the bottom of the 9th inning. And if you really think this one through, the Rams are down by 11. The game-tying run is Ward Hacklin. Not this time at the plate. He'll have to go all the way through and then back up to be the tying run. Just put things in perspective for you. Look, do the math. 1 on and 2 down. Compton trying to shut the door and pick up the 27th win of the year for St. Andrews. Hernandez running. Hacklin swung through for strike 1. Hacklin awaits the 1-1 pitch. Upstairs, it's ball 2. Two 1 delivery. Breaking ball called strike 2 on the outer edge. The Rams down to their last strike with Josh Hernandez at second base. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, down 12-1. Ward Hacklin awaits. Compton fires the 2-2. Swung through for strike 3, and that'll be the game. St. Andrews picks up the win, 12-1. 12 runs on 11 hits, no errors. Meanwhile, Columbia International just 1 run on 8 hits with 5 defensive errors. That'll wrap it up for us here tonight from Millerville. We'll be back with you tomorrow for a 1 o'clock first pitch in a doubleheader. Until then, for Corbett Catlett, I'm Kay Crenshaw saying so long from Columbia. And as always, remember to smile.